So I've shown up at the barn, and this dude has got himself a bug bite, which has resulted in hives and drooling because it's on his nose, hives on his neck, hives on his bum. We're waiting to hear back from the vet, and maybe Mummy's gonna have to drive 50 minutes to the vet office to get you some antihistamine. Horses, man. Horses. Hello folks from quite a frazzled Kaitlyn. So I got out to the barn just over an hour ago. We've had some really nice rain over the last couple of days, and as a result the temperatures have cooled down and it's like 22, 23 degrees today. So I thought, ooh, I'll go out to the barn and I'll have a nice ride on Merlin. I had a migraine all last night and into this morning, and it got really bad, but then I rested. I still have it, but it's gotten better, and I thought some time outside would do me good. Went out into the field to get my horse, and his neck on both sides is covered in hives. And I'm like, okay, what the heck? So I'm looking all over his body, and then I notice on his face, on the left side, just kind of above the corner of his mouth, there's a big honkin' bite with like a little pinprick in the middle that is very obviously like he's been stung by something. Take his temperature, it's normal, so that's great. No abnormal TPR. The only odd things are the bite and the hives, and because the bite is on his mouth, there's like a tiny little bit of swelling around it, and it's causing him to drool. So I call my vet office. The secretary gets in contact with our vet, who's of course out on a call, and we're gonna get some antihistamine. Now you might say, oh my god, Kaitlyn, this is not a huge deal. It's literally a bug bite causing hives. He's fine and is going to be fine. And that is true. Like, I'm not stressed about it at all. Am I slightly annoyed that I couldn't have my nice track ride that I was hoping for? Of course, but my main priority is making sure that he's going to be okay, and he is. But part of the changes that are happening as a result of me moving farms is I'm taking more of a hand in Merlin's day-to-day care. Anyways, I thought that it would be interesting to document the process of, I don't want to say healing it, but treating it and all that stuff, because I find these kinds of videos interesting. You know, one of my main mantras for this channel is to be real and transparent, and it's not always sunshine and daisies. It's been just over an hour since I put him back into the field so that I could go to the vet to get the antihistamine. So we'll see what it's looking like, and I'm really hoping that he'll actually eat it. So he's his normal self eating, it's just that, and then the resulting hives all over his body, which are about the same, thankfully, as they were an hour ago. So it's no worse. Well, no objections on the first bite. My poor boy. It's hard to even show on camera, but he's really hivey. Really, really hivey. It's like there's something different. You don't want to eat it, do you? Are you seriously going to eat it if I hold it like this? I was kind of scared you couldn't give it orally because the jar or container of meds says to give it with feed, but I googled it, as one does. You can give it via like syringe with water. So we're gonna try that, and if that doesn't go well, then I'm gonna walk to the store down the road and get some applesauce and hope that works. You're being my picky boy, aren't you? You're never picky. He says, yes, but I smelled it. I know, Bubba's, I know. Sorry, buddy. I know. Yeah, I know. Good boy. Good boy. Sorry. I know. I'm sorry. Good boy. It'll make you feel better, I promise. Giving him a little bit of grass to try to make him forgive me. Not impressed, are you? And you couldn't get any further under that tree, I don't think. Yeah, I know. Good boy. Okay, so it is a bit later. I'm now home. I've had a shower and I feel a lot more human, and I've decided what better place to mix more supplement bins for Merlin than at my desk in front of my computer. So in discussion with the vet, we're going to do 2 doses a day. So the first dose was tonight around 6 p.m. I'm going to go out to the farm early tomorrow morning around 7 and give it to him, and then I'll be out again tomorrow night around 7 to give him his evening dose. And then I'll base whether I give some to him on Saturday on how he's looking tomorrow night. If the hives aren't super bad, I might just give him some on Saturday night. I've heard and I've experienced in the past that a thing like this with hives with an antihistamine actually clears up fairly quickly. So I'm optimistic that I might be able to ride him on Sunday. And it might seem a little bit ridiculous to make a video out of my horse getting a bug bite, but this channel and this journey isn't just about the riding and the training. It's about my experience as a horse owner, and part of the joy, but also it's a little bit scary coming into this new barn, is I'm now responsible for a lot of things that were previously included in my board at the old barn. So his nutrition and organizing the farrier appointments and vet appointments. And because the board is more DIY, like I got to the barn, noticed an issue with my horse, I called the vet. That's my business, right? And I'm so far really enjoying having this more hands-on approach to my ownership of Merlin. But in other ways, it's kind of scary because it's my first time having to do this with a horse, because Merlin is my third horse, but all that stuff when I was a kid was dealt with by my parents or by barn owners and things like that. And it's a really freeing experience to take control, but it's also a little nerve-wracking, even though I know I'm very knowledgeable and I'm happy with the decisions that I'm making. It's part of this journey that I'm documenting by making these YouTube videos, mostly for myself to just look back on in years to come. To be honest, this video might be watched by no one, but it's one that I think, you know, it's part of the journey. It's not all about the riding. I will check in tomorrow when I go out in the morning to feed him. The 6:15 alarm is going to come very quickly. It's now 10:14 p.m. It is 6:45 in the morning. I am normally a morning person, but this morning I am not. It took a lot for me to get out of bed and in the car on the way to the barn. So this morning will be just a matter of me giving him the once-over, giving him the meds, and giving him, I don't even know if you're going to call it a feed. I'm going to give him like half of a cup of alfalfa pellets, and it'll just kind of be like a nice treat for him after I've given him something that doesn't taste very good. So funny, I haven't been out to see Merlin this early in the morning since he moved here, and he's completely on the other side of the field. He's all the way over there. So this is the state of the hives this morning. The ones on the bum are a bit better. Oh, they're looking so much better. The one on your nose is still a bump, but the hives are looking a lot better. So yeah, the hives are looking a lot better. Well, we still have the actual bite, but I'm pretty happy. So much better compared to last night. Evening time now, and I was just driving out to the barn and it was perfectly sunny and lovely. And then out of nowhere, this gray grossness comes out and it's like pouring rain. Hello. Did you get soaked? There's my other favorite boy. Hi, Mouse. Oh, Mickey. Be nice to Merlin. Hi, buddy. Hi. Your rain rod's looking good. Hi. So his hives are looking quite good, if I do say so myself. There's pretty much just some left on his neck. I'm thinking one more day of antihistamines and I'll be able to ride on Sunday. But I thought I would take advantage of a quiet night and introduce him to the indoor arena. The fantastic thing about Merlin is that he is very naturally curious. Sometimes a little too much. So I'm just gonna have a little walkabout with him. Hey? You're used to jumps in the corner, aren't you? He's like, what is this whole side door thing? I don't understand. Now, the one thing that I think he's gonna take some getting used to is this. This is the viewing area. Merlin! Hi, hello. You don't care, do you? Wow. I mean, maybe it's because it's me, but I was expecting much more of a reaction. Now watch what happens when I hint that I'm going to open the door. Hi, he said, don't forget me, Mom. So his neck is a bit drier, so you can see now the extent of the hives compared to last night. It's so much better. Yesterday they were all down here. There was some on his belly and his bum. And also happy to say that he's drinking very, very well. You can kind of see here too how much the hives have gone down. Good boy. So it is now Saturday and the hives are basically gone. I made the decision not to come out today and do a morning dose based on how the hives were looking last night. And yeah, we just have a little bit on the neck. So we're gonna do some in-hand and bareback pull work today, but we're not very energetic, are we? So someone was also recently conveniently doing pulls. So we've got some canter pulls, which also work well as walk pulls. We've got 5 walk pulls, and then I set those trot pulls up as walk pulls with 2 raised. We're just literally walking over and over and over these. Although something tells me that, good boy, those are supposed to be trot pulls. Wait. Oh my Jesus. You hit nearly every single one, Merlin. Kind of. I'm gonna do a proper ride today. Oh, your hivies are looking good. Your hivies are almost non-existent.
What a good boy. Oh my god, you can see the drool fall out when you did that. Ew, that's so gross. And
So Mickey, come in the front. Look at Mickey from the front angle.
He's smiling. Oh my god. And you can see this little drool. Oh my god, that's so cute.
They should be strided out to walk it. Well, they're normal horses trot distance, but lovely. Good boy. So today is Sunday and Merlin's hives are basically gone. So I didn't really explain yesterday, but Friday I gave him 2 doses of the antihistamine. Because it was so much better Friday night, I decided to test and only give him 1 dose on Saturday night to see how they were. Merlin had a dose last night and the hives are basically gone. So we're doing a little light ride today. Natalie is riding him first today, and then I'm gonna get on and do a little bit of schooling. Does that walk feel a lot more natural to you now that you've ridden him a few times?
Yeah, like there's still the odd step that I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, it's just a lot more hips than...
Yeah. Way more hips. It's not even way more hips than just the difference between him and Mickey. Like any thoroughbred I've ridden, even Eve, who had a big power walk, Merlin's like twice the amount of like hip movement. So Natalie is riding Merlin a little bit in the next few weeks because I am going away to Scotland for 2 weeks from early to mid-August. And normally when I'm away, he would have a break, but he's just coming back into work after 6 months off. So she's going to keep him in work with me, but he's never been ridden by someone else without me there. So they're taking the time to get to know each other so that we know that things go tip-top. So hopefully today, because you got on first, you'll feel his non-school horse trot because he's still got energy. So this is really good for Merlin because he hasn't often been ridden by someone other than me, and this is either only the first or second time that someone else has ridden him and I haven't got on first. So it's really good for him because I want him to be an adaptable horse that is easy to ride. So to have someone else get on him first and try to figure out his buttons, and I can do a test of if I've trained him in a way that's easy to ride, which I think I have, but you never know until you kind of put them to the test. So not only is it really good for him to be ridden by other people, it's also really good for me to have someone that I trust work him while I'm away, because I've got such a, I don't know, you know how when you've got a horse that you know, he's your pride and joy, you don't want anything to happen and whatever, it can be hard to like let go, if that makes sense. So it's really good. Right now Natalie's just kind of trying to figure out his buttons to get him connected, but I've also told her that he's much easier when you're just starting to get him connected. He's much easier to do it at the trot, and then you get the feel for it, and then you can get it at the walk. Really nice. That's great. Count how many times I say really nice.
Oh my god, don't make me laugh. I literally was like watching that video. I'm like, I think I'm gonna go get a shot glass. Oh my god, this feels fast as...
It's okay, just keep him going. You'll get used to it. If he needed to slow down, I would tell you. So it's so funny, Natalie and I have like exactly the same brain. I suggested that she stay on a circle, on a big circle down here until she felt comfortable and then go large, and she was like, yep, that's literally my thought. Did he go a bit fast?
Yeah.
I missed it.
I was like, and then I got him back to a light trot. I was like, this feels like a walk now.
That's the thing, is it just takes a bit to get used to.
Well, that's why I'm like, he's gonna get real tired of transitions with me.
That's fine. It's good for him. It's good for him.
It's just weird going from like that to this.
From what?
Mickey.
Yeah. No, I know. It takes an adjustment.
Oh my god, every time he trips, I feel a shock up my...
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm talking about, the clumsiness. And that's one tip I will give you. If he starts to get too on the forehand, like any horse, he's much more likely to trip. That's why if he gets on the forehand, I tend to either bring him back or I make him collect. Very good. Really nice. Now sit deeper into the saddle. Good. That'll make him slow down a bit. Really nice. Good boy.
This is gonna sound like a dumb question.
Yeah?
But, okay, so you know how he like, obviously he's stretching. Like it feels like he's like way more, his head's more into the ground than it actually is.
Yeah.
What is your, like, do you literally go to this last one? Yeah?
Yeah.
And you're like...
It's gonna feel really insecure,
Yeah.
but he won't do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
And if he's going to spook, you'll feel it a mile away. Because he'll
I'm not
start...
necessarily like worried about that. I just don't want to like be letting him like, obviously you're gonna know like what's too much. But I
Yeah, no, sometimes he'll literally be on the buckle. And it's just because they're they're regular size reins.
Yeah. Well, that's why
On
like,
a big warm blood with a long neck, but also if you look at where they're almost extra short, because if you look at where they're attached on the bridle,
Yeah.
it's kind of higher up than it would be on the bit.
Yeah. No, because I just don't want to like, I don't want to have like some horses, you know how they just start then like pulling and pulling and pulling.
Yeah, no, he won't.
Won't? Okay.
Yeah. Stretching is one of his favorite things to do. And I do let him stretch in the warm-up and in the cool-down. But sometimes, because he loves to do it so much, sometimes when I'm trying to school, he's like, no, I don't want to collect. Here's a stretch, because I know that you like when I do it. But it's like time and place.
No,
and like I said,
sure.
it's gonna feel insecure because you're on this
Yeah.
big, fast, not fast, but like big moving horse.
Yeah.
And you've got like 2 inches of rein.
Yeah.
It's honestly just a thing of trust. You have to trust that he's not going to do anything and he won't take advantage, and he won't.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Lovely. Look at that fancy walk.
Adorable. That's my little dressage star.
Good, yes. Really nice. That's beautiful.
I'm not fit.
That's okay. And like you said, all these transitions are good for him. So if you just want to do a circle and a half and then walk and then more trot and then walk,
Yeah.
who cares?
Oh my god, you're a horse and a half.
He's a horse and a half. And I will say, you don't have to put much effort into posting.
I know, which is what's like freaking me out.
I know. And also, he has a built-in emergency brake.
What does that mean?
Click, like you're gonna, like...
What the?
Are we a little mind blown by the emergency stop?
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's because I don't use it very often, because in positive reinforcement, it's called the bridge signal, which means that he's been conditioned to expect a treat following the click.
Oh my god, I wish I knew this at the start.
Well, no, it's because I don't want you using it unless you absolutely need to.
But I was like, what the heck?
So cute.
Yes.
He was a very, very good boy for his Auntie Natalie, and then for me to get on and just do a little bit of canter. He'd given him a full hose down, and he's had lots of time to cool down, so now he's getting his feed. He just had his last dose, well, potentially his last dose of the antihistamine. Yesterday, he literally rolled up against a tree, and I was like, are you gonna get cast? Because last winter, he got cast against a snowbank like 3 times. Oh. Come on, you. Come get some water.
How the tables have turned. Look who's trying to get her horse to go drink water now. Oh my god. He's like, oh, come on, Mom. Aww. Good boy.
I expect that to be in the video.
He worked hard, and it's a hot day.
Hey, it's coming for you.
I don't see a thing.
Hey, it's on Merlin. It's on Merlin. It's up. Look how big that thing is.
I don't see a thing. Okay, so welcome back. It's now Thursday, and I'm going to explain in detail why I haven't filmed anything really since Sunday, but I have to rave about a company for a second, and not rant, I mean rave. One of my favorite hoof products, and has been for ages, is Hoof Doctor. And back in March or April, they came out with a large can version of their product, which is great because it's like double the size of the other one, but you get more bang for your buck. And I ordered a large can the day after they announced it off of Amazon. It was great, but I wasn't able to get the top of the can open, and the can was leaking. I finally gave up, and I cut the top of the can open, and there was substantially less product in there than I expected because of the fact that even though I wasn't able to open it, it was leaking. So I sent them an email yesterday. So today's Thursday. I sent them an email yesterday, Wednesday, shortly after 2 p.m. They responded within 15 minutes and said that they would send me a new can. So I was expecting this in the mail today, but I open up the bag, and there's a tote bag, which is great. I got one when I ordered my first can, but they included a full size, I don't know if that's actually the biggest size, but a can of Hoof Doctor putty, which is basically the same formula as the liquid, but it's good for when it's really wet because it means that the product stays on longer. I have some. I bought some at the same time that I bought the last can, but I did not ask them to replace this. And this is valued at probably $40 or $50. The one that I bought, which I think is the same size of this, was $50. Talk about incredible customer service. I'm just gonna rant and rave and take a couple of minutes of this video to just recommend Hoof Doctor. And for any Canadians out there, they're a really well-respected company company worldwide, but they're a Canadian company. Alrighty, howdy folks. So I'm now on my way out to the barn, and I thought that I would spend my time while sitting in very slow traffic on the highway to chat a little bit about what's been going on in the last week. So I started filming this video originally 1 week ago today, last Thursday. Sunday night, the hives were basically gone, and I said, okay, I'm not going to come to the barn on Monday because I was quite burnt out. I'd had a long week at work and then, you know, many visits to the barn. And it was going to be a really nice week, so I had plans to ride Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got out to the barn on Tuesday night. I fed him before I brought him in, and then figured, you know, he'd have his feed and then there'd be enough time between him eating and me grooming and tacking up that I'd be okay to ride after he had eaten. Bring him onto the cross ties, and within about 5 minutes he starts drooling. And he had been drooling a little bit on Thursday, like the previous Thursday, and I figured it was just related to where the sting was, because the sting was on the corner of his mouth just above his lip. 5 minutes after I put him into the cross ties on Tuesday night, he starts drooling, and it's like a faucet. Trying to catch when he like opens his mouth. Oh, here we go. A lot of the symptoms that he had could be considered symptoms of choke, and I've never dealt with choke personally on my own, so I panicked a little bit. One of the other things that had popped up when I googled excessive salivation in horses was something called clover slobbers, or slaframine overload / poisoning. I had never heard of this before. I had never experienced it. I didn't think that that's what it was. I was convinced that he was suffering from an episode of choke. Lo and behold, call my vet, and as I'm chatting to her on the phone, Merlin starts eating, and he's swallowing very easily. And I said, okay, well, it's not choke then. Brought him to the water, drank water very easily, and continued to pull me towards the grass. So she said, it's not choke. Based on what I'm describing, I sent her a video. She said, yeah. And she told me that she had had some horses in the practice recently who had been suffering from the same thing. It just goes to show that you're always going to learn something with horses, because I had never heard of this before. You can bet yourself that I'm an expert in it now, because my ADHD research hyperfixation kicked in, and that night when I got home from the barn, I did a lot of research. But essentially what happened and what caused the quite frankly ridiculous salivation in my horse was something called slaframine. It's not really a condition, but the thing is also called clover slobbers, and that's because there's this bacteria that in wet and humid conditions, not necessarily hot conditions, but wet and humid conditions, can grow on legume plants, and quite often it's clover, which is why people call it clover slobbers. And I'm probably going to butcher this. I'm going to put a couple of links down below because I find it really interesting, and situations like this always result in one way or another in me gaining some new knowledge. So I like to share this knowledge. So the bacteria or whatever contains something called slaframine, which is a thing that stimulates the salivary glands in horses. I read one article from Kentucky Equine Research that said that in really bad cases, it can cause the horse to generate 12 to 15 gallons of saliva per day, which blows my mind. The bad thing is that there's not really anything that you can do. It just causes them to generate a lot of drool in some cases. In other cases, like Mickey had it too. Mickey was drooling a little bit, but not as much as Merlin. I mentioned that it grows in wet and humid conditions. We've had a lot of unseasonable rain in the last couple of weeks, coupled with really hot temperatures and humidity, which has meant that it's just prime conditions for this bacteria to grow. So yeah, the more you know. Get out to the barn yesterday, meet Natalie there. Now, something to know is Mickey has been coming down with an abscess for the last few days, so he's been a bit limpy. It hadn't reached the point where it was ready to burst yet. So we get there and we put all our stuff out and we go to get the horses. Natalie was going to look after Mickey, try to soak his foot a little bit and try to draw the infection out so that it would burst. I grab Merlin, she grabs Mickey, and Mickey gets out of the paddock and he is three-legged lame. When you see a horse that has an abscess that's about to burst, it hurts your heart, and that's exactly how it was with Mickey. We figured that it was quite close to bursting, so Natalie ended up calling the vet to come out. So I didn't end up riding last night and was there until probably, I think I got home at 10 p.m. The vet came out and was unfortunately not able to find the abscess because he was testing really sensitive over like 3/4 of his foot, and she didn't want to take away too much sole. So we did an Epsom salt soak, and then we made a boot with animal Lintex. Me, do you ever see me?
Hi.
He seemed more comfortable after that, so hopefully it's gonna burst tonight or tomorrow, maybe. Yeah, it's so close to bursting. So anyways, Merlin has not been worked since Sunday and it's now Thursday. So I'm going to end the video here because I'm actually going to do another fitness ride on the track, and I'm going to make a separate video out of it. So between Natalie and I, in the last week, we've had three calls to the vet, and our horses were just not playing ball.